One of the best ways to get clients as a product photographer when starting out, and even if you're just a couple of years into your business, is pitching. And I have a very special guest today who you may already recognize from the YouTube space. Please welcome Chris Pieta, who is going to share with you his client acquisition process and top tips for sending cold emails to leads. Make sure you stick around to the end of this video though, as I'll briefly explain what the differences are between Chris's processes and my own, and how both of our client acquisition strategies really do complement each other so that you can find more success in booking your own photography clients. So I'm now gonna hand it over to Chris.
Hi, my name is Chris Pieta and I teach creative business here on YouTube and run a product photography company. I want to say thank you to Amanda for having me on the channel. Now, let's get into my client acquisition strategy. My strategy actually begins before I even look for clients. First, I picked a niche that has a pain point, is in a targetable market, and has spending power, and is a growing category. If you can nail these 4 things in your niche, getting clients will be way easier. My niche is food and beverage product photography. This market is highly targetable because it's very easy to find brands in the food and beverage space. The market has spending power because I'm targeting businesses, and businesses tend to have money. The market's pain point is a little harder to define, but most of my clients want more sales, and good product photography generates more sales. So that's how we solve that pain point. And finally, it's in a growing category. Direct-to-consumer goods are only getting more and more popular with the rise of e-commerce. You need to identify what your niche actually is, and just as importantly, you need to create an offer. So many photographers don't do this, and they're messing up their client acquisition system before even getting started. An offer is exactly what it sounds like. For me, it's product photography. That's it. That's my pitch to clients. I have one thing I do, and I do it really well. Inside of my offer, there are a bunch of little things like licensing, Photoshop, prop styling, and mood boards, just to name a few. But the core offer is product photography. It's good to have an offer with bonuses you can reference in your emails and discovery calls to clients. Once you've defined your niche and your offer, you can begin to get clients. Now, how do I actually get clients? These days, my assistant does the bulk of the work, but she follows a system I created that has allowed me to work with over 50 brands without relying on referrals. It all begins with generating prospects. A prospect is someone you think would be a good fit for your service. For example, my niche is food and beverage product photography. If I see a company on Instagram with poor quality photos, I'll add them to my list of brands to reach out to. I've just found a prospect. One of my top ways of finding prospects is using Amazon. I'll look up a big food category like matcha green tea. I'll go through all the companies in that category and write down their names. I like using a spreadsheet to stay organized with all the different brands. Another great way to generate prospects is to use Google. I like to Google top 10 matcha brands, and from there, go through all of the top 10 lists and find the brands that I want to work with, and I'll add them to my list. Now, once we have a list of the companies we want to work with, it's time to find out who to reach out to at those companies. Ideally, this is going to be a marketing director. We're trying to find the decision maker here. If it's a smaller company, this might need to be the CEO that you're reaching out to. I use LinkedIn Sales Navigator or another software called Apollo.io to find the emails of those people. Each of these costs about $100 a month, but they are worth it to use. Even if you land just one client a month, they instantly pay for themselves. If you don't want to pay this much, then just use the contact email you find on their company website. Okay, so we have the email addresses, we have the company names. It's time to reach out to these people. We're going to be doing this through my favorite method, cold email. Cold email is a fantastic way to generate leads for your business, but there are a few things you need to get right. First things first, you need to use a G Suite email address that isn't your primary business email. Because of the nature of cold email, you'll be sending a lot of emails with no responses. This means you might get marked as spam, and you don't want that happening to your primary sending domain. So what I do is I buy a new domain from Google with my company name and a different ending. So instead of doing pietaproductions.com, I do pietaproductions.biz or any of the other 100 endings you can buy. Then I create a G Suite email, let's just say chris@pietaproductions.biz, and I have my new sending domain. From there, we can start sending out emails. Create a subject line that's interesting and you yourself would open. Put yourself in the prospect's shoes. Ask yourself, would I open this? If the answer is yes, you've got a good domain. Next, let's talk about the body of the email. The goal here is to have a personalized email so that you can stand out in a sea of cold emails. You need to pick something unique about this company that you like and mention it. Maybe you've tried their matcha before and loved it. Maybe your girlfriend baked with it and made the most delicious muffins. Mention this in your email. keep it personalized. The first sentence of the email is the hook. This is where you use that personalized message. The hook is where you capture their attention so that they keep reading. Keep this at 1 or 2 sentences max. Next is your email body. This is going to be where you actually introduce yourself and tell them about what you do. You talk about previous brands you've worked with to build up credibility, and if you have any proof of your results, like a case study where you increase the sales of a brand through your photography, you can put that here. Add credibility so that you come off as an expert here. Talk about your niche and your offer. Finally, you need an ask. Without asking them for something, the cold email is pointless. For us, our ask is going to be to hop on a call with them. The goal of the sales call is to get them to agree to a Zoom call or a phone call. Just ask them if they have 10 minutes free next week for an intro call. You're going to be sending a lot of these emails without getting responses, and this is normal. If you get a 10% response rate, that is fantastic. And if no one responds to that first email, send a follow-up, and then another follow-up. Most of my responses actually come from the follow-up. Okay, so now you've got this prospect on the phone. What do you talk about? This is your discovery call. Here you ask them a lot of questions about their business. What are they doing from a marketing end? Why did they decide to get on the phone with you today? Shut up and listen to them. Then based on their responses, you can offer them a solution that will best solve their problems. Talk through what you do and how you can help them. Provide any credibility that you have and really wow them. After the call, it's time to put together a proposal for a project and send that their way. Include relevant info in your proposal from the phone call. Include a portfolio with photos or videos relevant to them. If you talked about ideas on the call, this is the time to bring those up again. Be sure to include a project timeline so that they know all the steps that will happen after they sign that proposal. Include pricing info and the assets that they get, and add in your terms, and you've got your proposal. And now you can send that to the client. Follow up with them ruthlessly until you either get a yes or a no from that proposal. And congrats. You've just gotten a client with my acquisition system. I know this was a lot of info really fast, so if you need any more help on these, I have a whole creative business playlist on my channel that goes in depth into all these topics. And if you found value in this, please check out my channel. I'd love to teach you everything I know about the creative business. My name is Chris Pieta, and I appreciate your time.
Now, when it comes to my own client acquisition process, we actually don't do any pitching, but instead, majority of our bookings come from long-term client relationships and referrals. But even if you're years into your business, having these skills to pitch yourself well is so crucial so you can go after the brands you dream of working with as opposed to waiting for them to come to you. If you want to learn more about how my business goes about booking clients and being consistently booked out at least 2 months in advance, go and watch this video here on Chris's channel, which will give you a breakdown of what areas we focus on to ensure our business is both profitable and sustainable. So I will link that in the description box below for you as well. In the meantime, go and check out Chris's channel because he does serve up so much great content and educational resources on building a creative business. Because we all know by now, it's not just about having really good photography skills, it's about having the business skills to go along with it so that you see longevity in your business. Now, if you have any questions on the client acquisition process or booking clients, let's chat. Leave a comment down below and I'll be happy to answer. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.